Let Daniel and everybody know that I'm going to be done by 7. Welcome everybody to this, is it the third lecture in Hebrew, the study of Hebrew language, Biblical Hebrew 201. So we're in the first chapter of Biblical Hebrew Step by Step, Volume 2. Tonight we've got these words blown up a little bit better for you so that you could see them online perhaps a little bit better. Hopefully you're able to follow along in your own Biblical Hebrew Step by Step, Volume 2, reading from the book of Genesis. Once again, we're still just on the first 8 verses. So what we'll do tonight is, once again, I'll go through this reading. It's something you should be getting to the point where you should be able to read along with me and follow along. And so let's do it. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Ve'haaretz hayata tohu babohu. Ve'choshek al pani tohom. Ve'ruach Elohim merechefet al pani hamayim. Vayomer Elohim yahi or. Vayahi or. Vayar Elohim et haor kito. Vayavdel Elohim bin haor ubin hachoshech. Vayekra Elohim laor yom. Velachoshek kara laila. Vayihi erev, vayihi boker, yom echad. Vayomer Elohim yahi rakia betoch hamayim. Vayihi mavdel bin mayim lamayim. Vayas Elohim et harakia. Vayavdel bin hamayim ashir mitachat larakia ubin hamayim ashir me'al larakia vayin vayehichen. Vayekra Elohim larakia shamayim vayihi erev vayihi boker yom shani. Now what we're going to do from now on, because we're only going to stay one more lecture in these first 8 verses, is we will read it like Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim va'et haaretz, and we will translate. In the beginning created God, or God created, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Just to make sure that everybody's translating each word and you know what every symbol and what every word actually represents. So once again, next week we'll do that. We'll go Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim va'et haaretz, and then we will translate it. And so we're going to, hopefully you'll be up to speed. You'll be able to do that together with me. Tonight, I am going to, before this lecture is over, I'm going to do something that I promised on the first night, and I'm going to go and I'm going to show you where the identification of a singular pronoun sets an absolute insight to important doctrine, okay, as I promised. So hopefully I don't forget and I remember to do that with you tonight. And now what I want to do is we've gone through basically the overview of understanding these words in verses 1 through 8, looking at similar words, and right here is a vocabulary list right here that hopefully you've gone through and you've understood this, because by and large a lot of your assignment is based upon this. And you know, I kind of want to show you something. I just want to kind of highlight this, because when you get into the assignments or that we have down here at the end, so you have your study hints and then you have your exercises, you know, most of your exercises can be derived from the chapter. And there's something I want to show you about writing here. So, and just showing you from the actual 3 consonant cal perfect form, and we're going to take it and we're going to make it an imperfect, okay? So it's a cow in its common cow form. It's a perfect third-person masculine singular, and I'm sure you remember that. And so what we want to do is let's go ahead and let's change it to a imperfect and being the third person masculine singular. So ra'ah is to see, or in the perfect form, he saw, right? And in the imperfect form is he will see, right? Did I say that right? He's imperfect, forgive me, the opposite, right? He sees and he saw, right? Yeah, so there we go. What I want you to do is I want you to pay attention to the way that the vowels change, okay? And then we're going to go to the Bob conversive, and he saw, okay? So it goes, he saw, right? That would be, because the perfect is complete, right? So he saw, and then we've got yareh, which is the imperfect, which is future tense, he will see, right? So then we add the Vav conversive, and now it goes back to, and the yod, recognizing that yod right there stands for the imperfect form right there, the third person masculine singular, and it's going to go back to the perfect form, but when you add the Vav conversive, and now it's, and he saw. Are you with me? I think I got that right this time. So, when you see the cow, and you look at all these cow simple form of the word, which is usually how you would identify the root, okay? You see that they all have what? Is that a pata or a gamet? A gametz. Pata or gametz? Anybody here in the class knows? Is that a pata or gametz? Huh? Yeah, is it a pata or a gametz? It's like the T. The T underneath the consonant. Huh? So you've got a gametz, right? Right? Is that true? So you have, all of these have, except for just one, in one case, they all have the same gametz, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to see that when you make it imperfect and you add the yod, it's always going to change the vowels to herek, shwa, shagol. See that? Herek, shwa, shagol. Now let's get rid of this. Don't look at the gutturals. Go back down. Herek, shwa, shagol. No guttural. Herek, shwa, shagol. And then this is an exception. We can talk about that because of the Cal simple form is different. But now come on down here, Haya, wherever you have two gametz, right? It's going to be Herek Yah Shagol. Do you see that? Anytime your root form has the double gametz, you know, that starts off with the same kind of a vowel form, it's going to end up in when you write the third person masculine singular imperfect, it's going to have similarly the same kind of vowel pattern. Now it's different when you have a guttural like ayin. Then anytime you have a guttural like ayin, you're going to end up with the same pattern. It's going to have pata, hatif pata, shagol. And you'll see it every time. It will be very consistent. So here's a sa to make, a na to answer. What's going to happen with that? Because they're both starting with the ayin, the gutturals. It's going to have pata, hata, pata, shagol. Pata, hata, pata, shagol. Okay? Now, I want to show you something else. This is all about spelling. Once again, by and large, you follow the same kind of pattern. So you learn how do you do your paradigms, and then you recognize that every time you do those paradigms, it's going to follow the same vowel pattern, so there's nothing new to memorize. It just helps you with the spelling, and then also helps you with the ability to predict how to pronounce it. So when you go to conjugating your verbs, right? And so there are exceptions, but this is more the rule, the generality. And so when you start off with tegaments in your root form, and then you go, as I said, to the herek, schwa, shagol, vowel pointing. When you add the vav conversive, it's going to be consistently pata, pata, schwa. Okay? So we go down and we look at the next one down here. Get rid of the gutturals. Go here. See? It is pata. Oops. Well, there's dagish. Okay, so some rule exceptions where you go to pata, herek, shagol. Okay? So there's some of our exceptions. But pata, schwa, herek. So it didn't follow good here in this because we've got some exceptions here. I should have caught myself. Let's see. I think that you will see, though, the vowel pattern for the gutturals being the same, that when you add the vav conversive, look at all the way across. What is it? Patas. Pata, pata, pata. Pata, pata, pata. Okay, for your vowel pointing. Pata, pata, pata. One thing that you've got to remember on that is that every time your your yod rather, is going to receive a dagish. Okay, so these are just generalized rules that you want to pay attention to when you're memorizing your paradigms and starting to conjugate verbs, and then understanding, what happens to those vowel pointings when you add that vav conversive. And one generality too that you'll see about in your writing, and that's why it's good not only to to learn the word, to recognize the word, to pronounce the word, to translate the word, but also to write the word, because it gets you familiar with that repetition of the vowel pointing. And when you see the vav conversive, it's always got primarily the pata under it. You see that? Very important to look at. And also, let me just make mention of this, okay? And every one of you need to do this. There's an exercise in Biblical Hebrew, Step by Step, Volume 1, that gives, I think it's right at about 100 words here. You want to memorize these 100 words. These 100 words, they don't take in the entire vocabulary list of the first volume, but it takes in a large part of them. And I think there might be one other vocabulary list after this, but it takes in the majority of the of vocab for Volume 1. Get those 100 words down, okay? Make sure that every time that you come across words like this, these are the vocab. This is pretty much vocab for the greater part of what we're dealing with right now in verse 8, 1 through 8 of Genesis chapter 1. But then at the very end here, you're going to have another vocab list. And then we'll collect all these vocabularies later. But right now, keep up with them as you go. And really focus on not only learning the word, because these words right here are used 500 to 5,000 times. So you get these words, and then you understand how they're conjugated in different forms they basically appear in their paradigm. You're recognizing a lot of words in the Bible. Debir, to speak, haya, to be, bo, to come, amar, to say, achal, to eat, av, father, avot, adam, Adam, bayit, or baitim, house, ach, or achim, brother. This is the plural form, of course. Ish, anashim, man and men. So make sure you get those down. You keep up with that. It's gonna really pay dividends for you as you go. Make yourself some flashcards. Write them out, 10 times a day for a while, and you'll have them. So let's go up here and let's start going through some of these exercises. Kind of learn the value of the exercises together, and really, if you have the book and you have the key, with just a little bit of help from me, then you should be able to almost, do this completely on your own. So hopefully, I think I only had 3 people respond to me via email that you're watching these. So please, email me with any questions that you might have. I'll be happy to answer them. So here in this first part of the exercise says rapidly read. Genesis 1 through 5, and we did a semi-rapid reading, okay? And then translate into English, Genesis 1, 2 through 5, and verse 7, okay? And then let's go and give the root of all these. So let's just go through that exercise. Let's just do every part of the exercise. Don't leave any part out if you can possibly help it. And once again, I'm giving you lots of time to do this. So we're going to translate verses 1 through 5, and we're going to translate verse 7. So, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashemayim va'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So, in the beginning, created God the heavens at direct object, hashemayim, the heavens, and haaretz, the earth. V'haaretz hayata, and the earth hayata was tohu vavahu, without form and void. V'choshek, and darkness al panei, was upon the face, tohom, of the deep. V'ruach Elohim, and the Spirit of the Lord, merchefet, hovered, okay, or brooded. So there's many different ways to translate this. Upon al pani, upon the face, hamayim, of the waters. Vayomer Elohim yahior vayahior, and said God, and he said, specifically, there's that third person, once again, there's the Vav conversive with the pata, there's that yod with the dagesh, the yod causing us to recognize that we're looking at the imperfect form of the third person masculine singular, but now we've added Vav conversive, and it says, and Vayomer Elohim, and God said, okay, so it's past tense, perfect, right? Even though it's in the imperfect form, the Vav conversive made it perfect again. And God said, Yahi, let it be light, or he could say, Yahi, just simply be. He could just translate it. And he said God, which would be God, and God said, be light, Vayahior, and light was. Or and light be. Be light, and light was. And light be. Okay, if we want to do, well, I better not say that. Okay, so, Vayar, once again, there's a Vav conversive, following the same basic patterns, in many respects. It's a little bit different because we had that, right there we have that, Lamed Piel Hey, right? Forgive me, the Pual Lamed Hey, right there. And so on the Vav conversive, the Pual Lamed Hey drops off. So, Vayar Elohim et haor kitov. Vayavdel Elohim bin haor ubin hachoshek has strong theological impact. Okay? And God saw, and he saw God, so, right? And God saw, you just take that noun and you put it in place of the pronoun, right? And God saw the light, that it was good. And he divided, Vayavdel, very important. And God divided between the light and between the darkness. That's why I say it has, significant theological impact, because at this point, the stars and the sun and the moon are not shining. He's just divided light from darkness. He's made a separation, in many respects, right here, from good from evil. Okay, light from darkness. The chaos from his divine order. The rebellion from his restoration. Okay? So, we're not going to be Platonic. We're not going to be Philonic. We're not going to be Philoites. Okay? But we're going to actually look at what's there. Okay? Vayekra Elohim la'or yom v'lachoshek kara layla vayehi erev vayevoker yom echad. So, and God called Vayekra, once again, Kara being the root, and we'll look at that some more here later in the assignment. Picking out that three-letter root is very important. There's the yod for the third person, masculine, singular, imperfect. There's the Vav conversive that now changes that back to a perfect. Okay? And God saw to the light, and God saw. And God called to the light day. Okay? We don't translate it that way. We say, and God called the light day. So we kind of like take away the lamed there, which is the to or towards. So he spoke towards the light. And he called it day. And we just, for simplicity, go ahead and translate it like it was just the definite article. Hey, okay? But if you wanted to really get if you want to really get very, very accurate in some respects, you're saying God called out to the light day. And that's where you could start getting really imaginative and start doing some crazy philo stuff and Talmudic stuff. And there's some wild stuff here, okay? And taking that lamed and saying what that lamed actually means by derivation with other associated words and whatnot. And it gets weird, but we're not going to get mystical here. We're just going to understand that God spoke to the light and said, and identified that light and said to you, I'm giving you an identity, light. Okay? In the simplest form. Light, I'm giving you an identity, and your identity is day. You understand that? We don't translate it like that, because it's almost like you got to add a couple of words. But if you wanted to try to get more at the meaning of God called to the light, he's speaking, as it were, to the light and giving the light an identity. And that light, the identity is day. And the same thing you'll see here. V'lachoshek, and to, he didn't say v'hachoshek. He said v'lachoshek, and to the darkness, kara, into the darkness he called night. And so he gave to the darkness an identity as night. Are you with me? Okay. Vayi'er vayivoker yom echad. So, and it was the evening, and it was the morning of day one, or the first day. Okay? And then they wanted us to translate also verse 7. There it is. Vayas, and a sa would be the three-letter word. Once again, we have a pul lamed hey that is dropped off with the vav conversive. Okay? So you could just say, well, this is a weak hey, right? Or a weak verb that causes a hey, the pul lamed hey to drop off. So it's a sa, to make. Vayasa Elohim et harakia. Okay, so Vayasa Elohim et harakia, and God made harakia, the firmament. Okay, Vayabdel bin hamayim ashir mitachat larakia ubin hamayim ashir me'al larakiak vayehichen. Okay, so here's what we have. And God made the firmament, and Vayabdel divided between the water which was in the midst of the firmament, and between the water which was ma'al upon la rakia, the firmament, and it was so. Okay? So it's, yeah, that should be our translation. Let's move on down here to, let me know if you have any, once again, if you have any questions about all of that. Doing the days, we didn't do that before. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. Obviously, we're going to get to that as we walk through this. It's pretty simple. Yom Echad, Yom Shani, Yom Shaloshi, Yom Rabi'i, Yom Chamishi, Yom Shishi, Yom Shavi'i. It's just counting. Of course, here's the count over here. Shanim, Shalosh, Shalosha, Arba'a, Chamisha, Shisha, Sheva. Okay, so let's give the roots of these. Okay, because that's really the big challenge that we're always having when we're reading. We just want to, first and foremost, we want to identify the three-letter root. As we go through it, we just have a process. We do to identify the root, and then what we do from identifying the root, then we start sorting out, what do we have masculine? Do we have feminine? Is it perfect? Is it imperfect? What person is it? Okay, so hayata is from the root hey, yod, hey, right? And then, which is one of the, to be verb, which you've had over and again. Merachefet is rachaf. Once again, a word that it appears here in our first 8 verses that we just translated. So rachaf, marachefet is, so I just translated it for you. It's pretty funny. So if you do happen to space out on it like I am right now, merachefet, come on. Merachefet is to hover, okay, or to brood. I'll find it here though, so somewhere. Here it is, merachefet rachaf, to hover. That's what you would do. You just go back and you look for it. I can tell you it's in the PL form, right there, the Herek Herek Sere, that's a PL form. And it's also a participle. And I'm not going to tell you how I know that, other than just memorizing it, and I'll try to give you more insight on that later. So, merachefet is to hover, to brood, from the 3-letter consonant, or 3-letter root being resh, het, pe, or fe. Okay? Vayomer is the 3-letter roots there, aleph, mim, resh, amar, to say. And then yod, he, herek, yod, he, herek, yod is once again yahi from the same root, hey, yod, hey, haya, right? Then bayar is once again the hey has dropped off, the pul lamet hey has dropped off, and it's from the root of resh aleph hey, to see. Then Vayavdil, badal is the first consecrated word, to separate, badal, to divide or to separate. Then we're back to Vayahi again, yahi from haya, hey, yod, hey. I'm hoping this is getting really repetitious and boring to you, that you've got it. Baya'as, once again, pul lamet hey is dropped off. It's from the root ayin, shin, ayin, sin, hey, asa, he made. Okay? Vayekra, there's your root, kaf resh aleph, to call out, to proclaim. Mavdel, once again, badal, and to separate. So it's Bav Dalet Lamed, and then Baya'an, once again a Pual Hey, Lamed Hey is dropped off. Anan, which is to answer. Ana, Ayin, Nun Hey, Ana, to answer. And then Bayefin, once again another Pud Lamed Hey dropped off. It's Pana, to turn. Pana, to turn, not Panay, a space, but Pana, to turn. And then we have Baya'al, once again, Pul Lamed Hey, once again, is dropped off. And it's Ayin Lamed Hey, Allah, to ascend, right? Pretty sure. And then Vayavin, which is once again another Hey is dropped off, Pul Lamed Hey. And so, this is redundant a bit right here, but it really just goes to show you something that you're going to see so many of these cows in the third person masculine singular, and it just helps you to kind of get a feel for that particular conjugation of the verb in the paradigm, to recognize that real quickly that we're just kind of missing hey. Bana is the actual root, which is vet nun hey, which is bana, to build. And you'll have asa, bana, in Yetzar, to made, formed, and built, all in creation. So God created, Asah, he made, and then Zavah, right? He formed, and then Banah he built. He formed Adam from the dust of the earth, and Banah he built Eve from Adam. So those are all three words that are used in the creation of man, both Adam and Chava. Okay. So moving right along here, then we've got Bayan or Bi'an. That Pata Yod is a diphthong, but and so many times when you see just Pata Yod, you're going to have, and even with the Dagesh in there, it's not going to be. It's going to have an E sound instead of an A-E sound, A-E sound. But so it would be more like Betzav, and the Betzav is from the Sade, and then it would be Vav, and actually would be Vav, Holavav. Kibbutz, rather, and a Hay. So we've got a Pul Lamed Hay that has dropped off. I'm pretty sure that's true, and we can go check it, but that should be command. Let's go check it real quick, because we can run right over to the key. If we have any question, just run over to the key lesson. Let's just see. Yeah. Seva. So it is a Vav Dagesh. Forgive me, not a Shuruk. I knew I was saying something wrong. Seva. So that's a Dagesh. How do you know it's a Dagesh? Because you've got a vowel right underneath it. So it can't be a Shuruk. It can't be a vowel with a vowel, right? It can't be a vowel with a vowel underneath it, right? If it was a Shuruk, and I should have known that. That's a very common word. I know that word as much as any other word. Seva is command. And, yeah. A little bit of a unique spelling for the cow perfect form. So let's go back. Always good to it's always good to have a key. That is one thing I love about Mansoor's Hebrew step by step. He's one of the few Hebrew grammars to give you a key. It is crazy. I've got at least 3 or 4 grammars over in my library. And none of them have a key. So you just got to go, okay, well, I think I've got it right. Seems right. And then you got to go try to do some research, figure out whether it is right. And then you still haven't got an assurance. It's always a blessing to have somebody who had at least a little foresight to recognize that we're going to be sitting over here, squirming, wondering whether or not we really got it right. So, we're not going to do D. D's a good one to do from Genesis 1 through 8. Select 5 verbs with the Vav consecutive and translate them into English. We kind of already done that, right? So it's kind of redundant. Write the imperfect and write A, the imperfect, and B, the imperfect with a Vav consecutive of the third person singular masculine of each of the following verbs. Okay? What I'm going to do is, rather than me write them out, I'm going to go over here to the key where they're already written out, and we'll just go through them and we'll look at them. And one of the things is you're going to pick up some of the pattern I was talking about before, okay? So there's gametz, right? And then when you go and you make it a third person masculine singular, simply adding the yod, you're going to have this happen in terms of the pointing of the vowels. Herek shwa gametz, okay? And now let's go down and let's forget the gutturals, but let's go down to Banah. Let's see, follows the same pattern almost. It's a shagol. And the reason it is that aleph is getting in our way, okay? And the hay is also kind of weak at the end, and so sometimes we get a little mess up there too. So we're going to forget the guttural. We're going to go back down here to the hay. And you can see if it follows the same basic patterns where you have a final hay form, then you're going to see every time those vowels are going to be pointed the same if we've got final hey. Okay? Do we have a final aleph? No, we don't. But you can look. If it is a final hey, you can see that vowel pattern. See that vowel pattern? Right? See that vowel pattern? See that? It basically follows the same pattern. A herrick. One example that's different is the schwa here. And that is messed up by that dagesh on that second vowel. So what we're doing is we're bringing in, at the same time, we're bringing in some of the exceptions to the rules. Don't go to sleep on me. I mean, it's just, basically, it takes it to another level, learning how to do the spelling. And so, you just, once again, if you look to, even if you kind of mess up on this and you put a herrick instead of a schwa, it's a minor error. Or a pata, instead of shagol. That's, a gamma instead of a shagol. That's a little bit more of an error because the sound is quite a bit different there, isn't it? But, you get the feel of it as the more you do it. And then you look, you can follow almost the same pattern here when you get to the Vav conversive. Especially, look at, for example, all these gutturals. You look at the Vav conversive and what happens underneath the Vav conversive. It's easy to find out how you're going to point that, right? If you look at all these gutturals, right? The Vav conversive is all patas underneath it. And kind of begin to get a feel for the various different patterns is really what I'm trying to emphasize. And what we're also seeing in here is that we've got, some weak verbs, and we've got some exceptions, because the one exception here, for example, of the way it changes the vowel pointing with the zava, and it's already starts off with a herrick, and so the herrick basically changes to schwa underneath the yod. And you can see that that's the only time that happens. See that? And really what I'm trying to point out to you is just really about spelling. So, bara, yivra, bayivra. And you want to be able to do that. Bara, yivra, bayivra. Anna, ya'ane, baya'an. So you're conjugating verbs. Anna, ya'ane, bayan. And you could probably argue for bayan because of that diphthong between pata and yod. It probably is bayan, not bayan, bayan. So, for sure. And I'm sorry about the pretty sure, because, I'm just pretty sure. Asa, ya'ase, baya, and there we were be, because of the pata yod, be'an, forgive me, be'ah, be'as, 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 tough one, be'as, be'as. So asa, ya'ase, be'as. Just got to practice it. I just haven't practiced that Vav conversive on sa very much. Bana, yivne, and once again, ve even. Probably ve even. Ve even. And break it down. We try to keep it easy with two syllables. Ve even. Allah, ya'ale, ve a'al. Pana, because of the dagesh. Now, yifne and ve'ifin. Zava, yitzave, and vetza. Vetzav. Haya, yahiye, haya, Yahiyeh, Haya, Yahiyeh, Vehi. Haya, Yahiyeh, Vehi. Ra'ah, Yireh, Vireh. Vireh, Vireh. Probably a little more ra, Vireh. Let me do something real quick. I know I probably put half of you to sleep. I won't translate this in English. It's pretty easy. God created the heavens and the earth. I said I wasn't going to translate it right now. Bara Elohim et ha-shamayim ve'ha'aret. Ve'et ba... Bara Elohim et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Should be how it is. Okay? But we won't translate them. Let me just go over this. The best thing to do on that would be to go set that up side by side with your step-by-step. Try to translate it first and actually write it out. This is just translation into English. If you can just read it out, good. It's better to go ahead and just read it out and write it out. Even if you're not getting the vowels, even if you're just doing consonants and a guess at the vowels, just do it that way. That's the best way to start. Then go look at the key and make your corrections. And don't be too hard on yourself, okay? I wouldn't get all of the vowels right. And I've been doing it a long time, but I really didn't ever focus on writing. I only recently, over the past couple of years, started focusing on writing. Okay, let me do this real quick. Let me go over here to this. Grab. I think is it that? I think that should be good. Blow this thing up a little bit here. If I can here, I think I can. And now let me go up here to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 3. And let's see if I can figure out how to blow this thing up real quick. I don't see the little wheel. But I could probably go to tools, right? Can everybody see that? Can you see that on the screen? Can you see that okay on the camera? Or is it too small? You can go over to tools. You can go to, see, where is it at? Program settings, there it is. And we can, where is that at? Oh, it says it's already scaled. I know what the problem is. Let's try to scale it again. It's not working for us, is it? Who knows? It's got this side scaled, but it looks like it scaled that, but it didn't scale this. We don't need that. Maybe if I make all of this go away, I can get it to scale. I hate eating up our time like this. I'm sorry. Get rid of all these little notes. Wonder if it'll scale it now. We can try, huh? Ain't gonna kill us to try. Might make us sad. Program scaling, is it there? Content scaling? Could just program scaling. Could try that. That did something. Okay. Vayomer Yehovah lo yadon ruaki ba'adam leolam beshagam hu bashar bahiu. Look at this. Bashar bahiu yamav me'ah be'esrim shana. Okay, so I can read sometimes better than I can pronounce, okay? And Yahweh said, or the Lord said, not dwelling in this yadon is a word which has a lot of different meanings, but I'm going to say not striving, not wrestling, not contending, not judging, okay, under judgment. And so what happens is King James is, I think, just translated contend or strive. So the Lord said, not strive my spirit, ruki, ruki, ruchi. Okay, see, herakiod, it's personal, my. Okay, and he said, and the Lord said, not strive my spirit or wrestle my spirit with Adam. Le olam, to or towards forever. So in other words, the Lord says, my spirit will not contend or strive or wrestle with Adam forever, bashagam, because he's flesh. Bashagam hu bashar, because also he who is flesh. Now look here. Bayahu, and it shall be Yamain. Forgive me, I'm sorry. Yamav, I'll get it here right in a minute. Ma'av, me'ah. It shall be the days, Yamav, me'ah, which is 100, Ba'isrim, which is 20 years. And it shall be that the number of his years shall be 120. People want to say that God is addressing Noah here and all humanity here. That his spirit will not always strive with man, no, but the number of his years, because he is but flesh, and the number of his years should be 120, that God is now going to deal with humanity for 120 years. Well, then, if that's so, you wouldn't have the third person masculine singular, who, which is he. Who is he? He is she, right? You were learning, that was the first thing you learned. One of the first things you learned. So, he's specifically talking to a single person. It's not Enosh for mankind, but Adam. He's talking to man, Adam, and he's not using a common plural, first person common plural. He's using third person masculine singular. So that's why I said, see, pointing out to you that identifying, the person, even like just in this instance, a third person masculine singular can make a huge impact on doctrine. Did you get that? Okay, good. So extra special bonus points in this class is that by next week, you tell me what it should say here if God was talking to all humanity. What should be in place of Adam and what should be in place of who? Now, I will admit that there are times where God addresses all humanity through the one person Adam, okay? But there is going to be a different form here, a different pronoun here used. And what should it be? So that's going to be the most important one right there. Okay? I want you to tell me what should be replacing the third person masculine singular, who, and of course it would be the common plural, first person, but I want you to give me the word for the common, okay? Plural, the first person common plural, okay? That's all. Love all you guys. See you.